There's another one of those scorpion bastards right there. You know, the past a few weeks I've been seeing this thing out at night that looks like a scorpion. Shines in the UV light, shines the correct color of yellow. See that right there? We're going cheap today, just cream cheese and garlic. Well, I haven't even looked at the weather yet, but I bet that sea breeze is back there lurking to the south. Very hazy today. Alright, kind of a hazy day getting back to summer patterns. Looking along the Texas Gulf Coast, 11:30 this morning, you can see cumulus streaks streaking on shore. See that streaking? Those are cloud streaks that are parallel to the wind flow. But there's also some patterns crossing the flow like that. See that? In fact, let me zoom in on that real quick. See, there's the cloud streaks. And then embedded on that there is this other pattern. Those are called transverse bands, and those are a signal that we have stable air aloft. And in fact, that's what happened. We had a little bit of a cap suppressing things in the mid-levels. We'll run this satellite picture so you can see what's going on. 9:30 a.m. right around here in Victoria, you can see that sea breeze starting to come on shore. We'll run the loop a little bit, and you can see that kind of dies out, but still, yeah, that's the sea breeze right there. Little action down to the south. Let me move this right here, and you can see another cluster of showers gets going down south of Corpus Christi just like yesterday, and it propels this little outflow boundary northward. So that moves northward through Austin as the day goes on, and up into the Temple, Fort Hood area, and up to the north there in Oklahoma City. We got a little action up there. That's the stronger upper level flow getting started and kicking off showers and thunderstorms up there. That's going to be a factor in our forecast over the weekend. There we can see them on the radar loop. They're pushing south with that northerly upper level flow. And those will probably get about the Red River, maybe even to Dallas before they die out. I'm not sure if they're going to get to Dallas. That would be kind of late tonight, but maybe at least towards the Red River. So where's the haze coming from? Good question. Usually the haze in the eastern U.S. comes from this part of the U.S., from Ohio, Indiana, Michigan, the Rust Belt. That's the source of most of all the haze. Usually that gets recycled around high pressure areas or pushed westward sometimes, that kind of thing. I ran a trajectory model using the NOAA high split model, which is on one of the government websites, and I backtracked the air that was coming into our low levels here. That shows that it came from the Caribbean across the Yucatan, somewhere out in the Atlantic. So who knows? That haze could have come from crop burning here, could have been a local fire somewhere that I wasn't really paid attention to, or it could have been old haze that dispersed out of the Midwest and pushed south across Cuba and Dominica. I'm not sure which one it is, but anyway, this is a pretty cool model. You can see where your air came from. So we didn't get a whole lot of thunderstorms today, and the reason, part of that, is because it is stabilized a bit and dried out. Moisture is very shallow there at Lake Charles, only about 3,000 feet. At Fort Worth, the moisture is deeper, but it's not that strong. Dew points here in the low 60s, or I'm sorry, probably mid to upper 60s there at Fort Worth, goes up to about 8,000 feet. But if we try to construct a parcel lift, this is how we figure out if there's storms. We got a strong cap here. See that right there where the red line comes over to the right? That's a layer of warm air that suppresses thunderstorm activity. That's about 10,000 feet off the ground. That tells us that we've probably got some subsidence in the upper levels that's pushing this column of air down and heating it. We get that adiabatic warming. So that's the reason we haven't seen much in the way of thunderstorms here. So here this chart shows the southerly flow coming up from the Gulf Coast. Typical south winds there, a little bit of upslope there in West Texas, but we've got the appearance of our old friend Canadian front once again, getting to be a regular occurrence there in Kansas and Oklahoma. So this is showing up, triggering those thunderstorms there along I-40, and that's going to be kind of a factor as that stalls out along the Red River over the weekend, and we may see thunderstorms in this area of Texas for the overnight hours and maybe some of the morning period over the weekend. No, I don't want to cancel that. So looking at the forecast, starting with Friday, this is precipitable water. This shows how much water vapor there is in the atmosphere from the surface up to the troposphere. So starting out today, you can just ignore this for now. Look at this area out in Texas, kind of a light violet color, so not a whole lot of moisture. I mean, indeed there is some moisture, but compare it to this one, Saturday. This is Saturday's chart, going from Friday to Saturday. It's a little bit more purplish, so we're going to get an increase in the moisture. That's going to make it easier to trigger thunderstorms, and that depends on how the upper levels cooperate. So we're going up to 30,000 feet and see how things are cooperating. Look at that, Thursday, today. We got a ridge that built in. That's the reason things have shut down. That's the reason we're getting the subsidence aloft, the sinking, the warming that's kind of shut down the thunderstorm activity. So we had that sea breeze get started along the Gulf Coast, Victoria, Corpus Christi, and it just couldn't produce anything. Just kind of moved north and produced a little bit of towering cumulus, and that's about it. How do things change going into Saturday? Well, that ridge does back off. Instead of extending out over Houston and Beaumont, it kind of backs off to the west a little bit, and we get this upper level flow spilling in 30, 40 knots aloft. So that'll increase the chances of thunderstorms a little bit over the weekend. May see some activity in southeast Texas along the sea breeze, anywhere basically east of I-35, in addition to the thunderstorm clusters up in Oklahoma. Going into Monday, it looks like things quiet down a bit. The upper level high moves in from the west over the Big Bend, so things are going to be hot there in El Paso starting out next week, and then getting into Wednesday, boy, that ridge really builds in, boom. So we're probably talking about upper 90s, maybe even hundreds across Texas, and probably not a whole lot of precipitation there, so probably dry next week. I'll probably be setting up the pool outside and enjoy a little bit of the reprieve. Anyway, that's the Texas forecast. Thanks for watching. Alright, books came. We keep this box out front because I'm so far back from the front gate. Wow, look at all this haze. There they are off in the haze. Sky looks almost like Ohio or Pennsylvania. Well, nothing going on today, so I'll just leave you with this. Look at that. Do you see that higher contrail off in the distance? It's a much lighter color than the surrounding cloud. It's because it's quite a ways above the cirrus there, catching a lot more of the sunlight. That's this guy, Southwest Airlines flight from Oklahoma City to Houston, going southward at about 35,000 feet. Quite a ways up there. There is going to be an eclipse, a total eclipse, in Texas in 2024. That's only like 9 years away. So yeah, it's going to run from Del Rio up to Waco and up to Greenville. Wonder where we're going to be at that time. Let's see what day that is. That's April 8th, 2024. April 8th, 2024, that's going to be on a Monday. Let's see, eclipse time, it's going to be about 18Z, so we're talking like 1 in the afternoon. I guess a lot of people are going to be at work. That's kind of a bummer. That'd be a nice weekend bit of fun there. Fire up the barbecue grill. And we got this other one coming up in 2017. That's August 21st. That's pretty far north of Texas, but that is probably going to be a lot of fun. I'm going to try to get up there myself. That's 2 years away. Then we got this other eclipse, August 12th, 2045. What are we going to be doing then? I bet you I'm still going to have DSL here. That's probably still going to be my only option out here. 1 megabit per second DSL.